Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Facebook Live. It is the 14th of December, year 2022. I hope everyone is having a fantastic December. Probably preparations are underway for Christmas, I think. Everybody is getting ready for Christmas. So preparations must be underway. Let's get to who we have on the panel today. We have Michelle here. Good evening, Michelle. Good to see you. And then we have Patricia here. Good evening, Patricia. And then we also have Ken. Thank you for joining, Ken. And I try and copy and paste the question. So Michelle, if you wanted to get started on this, it says, how do you deal with external aggravation, irritation caused by people around you? Someone said something out of place, done you wrong, made an offense that you perceive not okay. I can stay calm staring out at a window looking at nature. I try to stay in the current moment, but when something external turns me on, it's hard to resist, to ignore. Maybe I'll succeed to not saying anything back, but my gut will still be turning. And then I know they are probably inner child sort of things. I don't know what this inner child is, but if you want to talk about it, and I'm going to go tag everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it is challenging, right? When you're triggered by something externally irritating, aggravating. I guess the first thing I would say is try to witness those reactions, right? I mean, I think this is a gradual untangling of emotional charge, right? And how you're going to respond to it. So sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's more challenging. So it depends on what triggers you most. So sitting in traffic, somebody getting you cut off, like Eckhart always talks about, can we just pull back and allow the person to cut you off? And then if you get upset with that, then notice you being upset. I mean, I do that all the time. Now I don't even get upset. I just let the person go through, and anybody that needs to go through, go through. Right. And sometimes you're in a rush and you kind of see it bubble up inside you. Like, no, this is crazy. Right. So, but it takes a lot of practice. So start with, the simple stuff. The grocery clerk, right, taking a long time and talking to someone in front of you while, waiting 5 minutes for them to finish their conversation too. So just notice how you're responding. It's like an experiment, right? You're just noticing and noticing and noticing your own reactions. And once you see that happening, you start to disidentify so much and take it so personally. I think it just happens naturally. I know for me, this is really, really hard when I'm tired, when I've had a full day and I'm exhausted. I can see myself getting irritated and frustrated. And I'm witnessing it in the moment it's happening, but it's almost like it's my presence power is not as strong because I'm so physically tired. So, and it still happens, right? But it's not as intense and not as frequent. And instead of seeing it a day later, 2 days later, after maybe you've screamed at someone because you were frustrated or irritated, you start seeing it a few hours later, and you get to the point where you're seeing it as it's happening, as you're maybe not speaking as nicely as you could, right? But the intensity is so much less. So it's a gradual process. It's not something, at least for me, that happens overnight. It's a minute-to-minute practice with whatever comes up in my life, whatever, yesterday happens, I lost my earbuds. I was in a store, and that night I went to look for them after a long day and I couldn't find. I got so upset. And I'm like, why am I getting so upset? I had to meditate. I had to let it go. I slept soundly the whole night. I woke up, it was less intense. And I used my fine mind today, and I know it was at somebody's house. And then later on this afternoon, I said it was at the store. And the clerk had it. And I went by and picked it up. So it resolved itself. I reacted, and I noticed that I reacted. I was irritated. And I said, I wasn't present. I lost it. I got on myself because I wasn't present. How could that? I mean, I know that it's important for me, right? Because I use it or whatever, and I had it in my purse and it fell out. How was I not present? And I was berating myself for not being present with that. And I'm like, this is really silly. Like, let it go. And they might need it more than I do. And then once I was able to observe all of that was going on, it kind of disintegrated, I'm like, it's just earbuds. It's no big deal, right? I said, let me look on Find My app. I'm like, oh, it's back at the store. Okay, let me go by. And I was happy that I was able to find it, and that nobody stole it. Was, there for me. But that's just an example, right? Like, I mean, sometimes it's harder when it's our closer relatives or spouse or child. Those are definitely more triggering. And so that's going to take a lot more practice. And in those circumstances, I would recommend just listening and being present as much as you can to whatever's being, I guess, thrown in your direction. And try to refrain from reacting in an aggressive manner, and just try to see if you could let it pass through you. And that is very challenging, and when you're in a relationship with a spouse for so many years, you have these differences of opinion, let's just say, and so sometimes, but I noticed throughout the years that the intensity of whatever's being discussed is usually lessened, but I still notice when the energy in the other person is very, very charged, I have to really take a deep breath and just really hold more attention to that presence power. But I will still feel a reaction in me, like it's coming hard and heavy, right? And it's uncomfortable. It's more of an uncomfortable sensation than anger, and so I use it as a practice to observe myself, and then because it's my husband, I let him know, he has that Latin, it's like very, it's a very strong when he wants to get his point across, and I'm like, okay, let's see if we can find a different way but that's who he is. So it comes naturally to him. So it's not, and we talk about this, but it's not what he does. It's how I respond to what he does, and I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form, if someone's being abusive or, emotionally or physically, to remove yourself from the situation, if it's at that point. But we're talking about, I think, more of, day-to-day kind of stuff. So that would be my recommendation, my observation, my experience.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that example of the earbuds, Michelle, losing the earbuds. One of the things that I would say is someone said something out of place, done you wrong, made an offense that you perceive not okay. So one of the things that I feel working through Eckhart's teachings is, I feel, because I understand the human ego and the unconsciousness, perceiving another person as wrong has lessened to like a gazillion degree. There's hardly any person that I perceive as being wrong. Right? So that may be one of the things that this person still needs to go through some more of Eckhart's work. Because why are we perceiving something as not okay? Someone said something out of place, done you wrong. That means we are judging that you are wrong. We're judging somebody as wrong. I mean, who put me on a king's chair and throne and said, I need to be the judge and say, you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, you're right. Right? So it seems like that's what this person is saying. You're wrong, you're right. That's a judgment. And Eckhart says, like, he repeats what Jesus said, right? Have no judgments, have no labels. So why would I judge anybody as being wrong? So that's one thing that came to my mind when I read that. Someone said something out of place, done you wrong, made an offense that you perceive not okay.
But what happens in circumstances? I mean, this seems to me seems run of the mill type of stuff. But when well, you had this experience, Poonam, right? Like someone watch a lot of movies with Joseph. So we just saw the movie she said about the producer in Hollywood that had a lot of sexual harassment.
Harvey Weinstein or
Yes,
something.
yes. So
There was a movie made on them.
oh yeah, it's called She Said. It's very well done.
Okay.
It's about the reporters that broke the story on the New York Times. So in those circumstances, right, he would say something out of place, did something wrong, made an offense against you. You know, there it becomes a little bit, the behavior was inappropriate, right?
The behavior was inappropriate, but you missed a really, really good Eckhart video this past weekend that we watched, Michelle, where Eckhart talks about the conditioned patterns. Like, these people don't know. They don't know, they cannot even fathom that their action is wrong. It almost is like this person has cancer of the mind. Like their mental virus, that cancer has taken over in their mind. They don't even understand that by saying those things, right, that they are doing something wrong, that it's inappropriate to say something like that. Like, it's just like people use racial slurs, right? It just comes out. Like Paula Deen was, I don't know how many of you know Paula Deen. Paula Deen was like a person. Do you know who Paula Deen is, Michelle?
Yes.
Right? She was taken out of the Food Network. She had a huge show on Food Network, and she was taken because somebody accused her of having racial slurs, right? When she was younger or something. But that's what people in the South did at that point in time, seems like, right? So what I'm saying is I'm not even going to that extent of it is that huge a transgression. I'm just talking about, this seems like a very day-to-day, someone said something out of place, done you wrong, made enough. It seems like a day-to-day, like maybe the service advisor said something or so-and-so said something. So in that context, what I'm saying is that compassion, we have to generate that compassion that the other person does not even have that capacity to know that they're doing wrong. That's what came to my mind. The practice is that someone said something out of place, that am I judging? Am I the one that is judging? And I need to drop my judgment, right? And why am I perceiving another person wrong? Would be my spiritual practice at that point in time. Because as I tell Patricia all the time, there's always a point of attraction. Why did I attract that behavior? What is the point of attraction within me that attracted that behavior? Even if it is sexual harassment. What attracted that behavior? What is the lack in me? Where was I seeking approval from another? Right? It may seem on the surface, and I have been sexually harassed at work. On the surface, it may seem like, oh, they are so horrendous. That man is so horrendous that How could he take advantage of being a supervisor or a manager? How could he, because he's in power, how could he take advantage of that position, right? It may seem on the surface, but I can see myself that at that point in time, I was seeking approval. Vibrationally, if you look at who I was, I didn't have this, the self-confidence that comes out of presence power, right? The wholeness that comes out of presence, I was not here. So all these women, and I mean, it's a highly sensitive topic. All these women, if they look at their vibrational frequency, they will, if you ask them, are you somebody that knows that you truly have your self-esteem? Are you somebody who knows that you're in your presence power? They will not have their presence power. They themselves will not have that level of presence power. And I bet if they had that level of presence power, this wouldn't have happened to them. Right? So it all is vibrational. It's attraction, attraction, attraction. It's a law of attraction. So what are we attracting in our lives? And we are the point of attraction. Like I said, I've said on the Facebook Live Q&A quite a few times that I even know as a 3-year-old child, the reason why my mom was physically, and you would go, how can a 3-year-old child, an innocent 3-year-old child, be somebody that can be a point of attraction? I know that I had horrendous hatred for verbal and physical abuse. Like I used to hate from the core of my inside, I used to hate her verbal abuse and her physical abuse. Hate it. Like, you know, the hatred that people have, racial hatred. I can kind of like empathize with their racial hatred because I used to hate it to that extent. Like I would quiver inside with hatred. I would hate it that much. Right? So what is the point of attraction? My hatred, the karmic pattern is in me. The conditioned pattern is in me. The karmic, she's just pointing out, hey, pushing the button. She's saying, look at this, right? So let me go to Ken. Ken is nodding his head a lot. So incredible, Michelle. Thank you. Go ahead. It seems to be a topic that you want to discuss, Ken. And you're smiling a lot.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is incredible. I feel like this is exactly what has been a main topic for days now and what I've been working through. And I even heard Gabor Mator talk for hours yesterday and today, and it was all about very similar conversation. And so, you know, I just want to start out, there are 3 truths. There's my truth, there's your truth, and there's a real truth. And if I believe something to be true, and very much what Poonam was just saying, don't you dare try to tell me I'm wrong, because I'll defend it I'll defend it all the way. And then realizing that my unconscious beliefs or the way I was programmed, I'm now realizing that when I started out doing the work, meaning from unconsciousness to being conscious, you know, it's very similar to plugging in a cell phone. When it has low energy, it's going to let you know. We're no different. And then I go, how do I fill myself up? I meditate, I sleep well, I have good thoughts, I have gratefulness when I wake up in the morning, I read spiritual literature, I have something decent to eat, I have good thoughts. Ooh. Excuse me. And so it's just something where, depending on where I am and what I'm going through, will depend on my energy field. If I am having good thoughts, if I am feeling good about myself, I'm going to put out a good vibration. But if something happens and all of a sudden I'm distracted, or it might trigger a pain body or a different part of me that might agitate me. So the longer I hang on to that vibration, it will affect me. And then all of a sudden, that energy will go out. And all of a sudden, I'll go, okay, now I'm driving, somebody pulls out in front of me. Somebody doesn't like what I'm doing. And I realized that there is what I'm putting out. I'm starting to really see the law of attraction on how it's working so vividly and how things will show up. It's absolutely amazing. And depending on what family members, I have 5 brothers. There's a couple of brothers who will trigger me as soon as I look at them. And realizing now I'm doing much better because I'm realizing the only one I can control is me. So now I'm aware of what comes up. So if they say something, or I'm like, okay, if I react, that's all about me. And sometimes if I don't react with them, they'll actually stir things up to get a reaction. And so I'm like, all right, so now if I hadn't done program or understood this, I'm realizing that I'm not going to feed them. And that will really irk them. That will upset them. They don't like it because they're used to drama. They're used to stirring things up. So, and there are actually a lot of people like that on the road, especially drivers. I've seen the craziest things where people will pull out body language, all kinds of things. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's just something where more and more as I'm aware, and now I'm really starting to catch myself when is and now people that are real close to you have a partner. Now, so obviously for me, that was always a really hot area because now I'm like on the drawing board again, not being in a relationship. And I can't believe how much I'm learning now by not being in one. But if I was in the relationship, I would usually be walking on eggshells. How am I going to deal with them when I see them? So I'd be thinking before I'm even with them, how I'm going to react, how I'm going to be there. And now that I have a clean slate, meaning with just me, now as things that would normally trigger me, I'm able to feel it and realize this is my stuff rather than project it or rather than try to be critical or judgmental. So I'm amazed on how this works, and even people that may remind me of other people. So it's just, I'm really aware of so many things, how my energy goes out, and realizing that that's my power. I used to give it away all the time. I used to be a people pleaser, or I used to take on responsibility that wasn't mine. That would be with shame. That would be with, well, I don't like confrontation, so I'm going to agree with you and not stir anything up. But when I start to do that now, I can actually feel myself get depleted. So I'm realizing that it's all about the energy, the power, and how am I dealing with that? And that I am the only one that can deal with me. And I am my responsibility. And I'm starting to really see how many areas in my life of how I allowed others to take advantage of me, use me as a doormat. And then even people, like, it was hard for me to see if people really liked me because there was a part of me that felt unworthy. So if I put out that unworthiness, I'm going to attract unworthy. So now I'm really seeing how whatever is inside of me, underneath the surface, and I never could see that before because I was always on the surface. And now that I'm aware, I can really, really pick up at a much deeper level on that law of attraction. That's what's coming back to me, is under the surface. But I have to be in that, I call the sweet spot. I got to be in that peaceful state. I got to be calm. I got to be relaxed, and realizing when I'm that way and be in presence. So it's helping me to understand there is another language. And there's also a language that comes through the body. The body keeps the score. I'll get sensations in my body. I'll get different noises. And so I'm realizing there's so many other things going on that I was totally unaware of because I was in my mind and thinking about things. And all I was doing was spinning, and I wasn't in that flow. So great topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Incredible. So when you said, I can't remember the exact words, but you said something about that you were already planning how the other people are going to react.
Yes.
Even before you met, like you're going to meet your brothers or your
Oh,
family
yeah.
members, you were already kind of envisioning that this is going to happen. I'm going to say this and he's going to say that and she's going to say that. And it's going to be like a drama unfold, and there's going to be like a clash of words.
Yes. I realize I've been doing that my whole life. And so what I've realized toward myself was being codependent. I went back and realized how codependent my mother and father were. So I didn't understand that label or that term. But now that I've experienced codependence in myself, being in partnership with people, I'm like, oh my God, I kept doing the same thing as my mother and father. I picked up what they were putting out. I took on, so from each generation. So that helped me even deeper and further to understand the depth. And then a lot of this would be with Gabor talking about trauma and how we pick up things. I mean, and as he's speaking now, so it's amazing. I'll get messages, let's say, from this group, and then I'll get messages from another group. So I realize that the messages that are coming through is coming through spirit. So it's coming through me. It's coming, and I'm realizing it's not coming from me. And so again, the power, I'm the power, but there's also another power that I need to be in alignment in. And I realize that that's what we're all in alignment. We're all interconnected. We're all in alignment with one another.
So what I wanted to point out is the moment a human being already puts out that intention that this person is going to say that person, so it almost is like you are already putting that wheel into motion, law of attraction. And of course, when you go there, that is exactly what happens. The drama ensues because you already, it almost is that thought sends a signal out, and the emotional energy that you had attracts that experience. So you experience drama with them when you went there.
Yes. And
with that intention. So this is a beautiful example that you have. And thank you so much. So grateful that you have brought that to light. That if we and since everybody is getting ready for Christmas and everybody's getting ready to meet a huge extended family, right? So get ready. If you think that your sister or brother or extended cousins or first cousin or so and so, that this person is always, and that's why Eckhart says don't label anyone.
Exactly. So Poonam, what I also believe, as we're talking, so if I have that feeling toward a family member, they're going to have the same feeling toward me. So that's why there's no connection. So in a sense, we're both mirroring each other.
Right. And
so,
the other way that Dr. Joe Dispenza explains it is, just like two atoms or two molecules, a molecule comes like H2O, water is two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atoms, right? How atoms come together and they're entangled with each other. Mm-hmm. The same way two human beings are entangled emotionally Like you see two people that one is a pain body, they'll attract another that is a pain body, and both will egg each other on. Like you'll find friends, like one friend will say, oh, look at my ex-husband, he was so horrendous and he did this, or my ex-boyfriend did this,
Mhm.
right? He cheated on me and he did this and he left me and this thing. And this friend will say, oh yeah, even my ex-boyfriend did this, right? Like they are entangled emotionally. They're just regurgitating the same emotion over and over and over again when they meet each other,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
that's one thing we need to actually learn to disentangle from. And that's what happens when we grow in presence power. That's why some of the friends leave us, because we are no longer entangled in the same emotional field, right? We are not egging on. That emotional field does not exist that had entangled us. So the other thing that I wanted to read is, well, when they say, but when something external turns me on, it's hard to resist, to ignore. The moment somebody says it's hard to resist, to ignore, that means that they also have been taken over by their conditioned patterns, that they're acting like a biological automaton and just reacting, right? They have no self-observation, like the presence power is not there. So that would be the second pointer that I would give from this paragraph. But when something external turns me on, it's hard to resist or ignore. The moment we say, then that means we've given our power away to our conditioned pattern, that we have a reactionary conditioned pattern, which even I used to be very reactionary, right? The same anger that my mom had, I had. So I had a marriage that was like a very reactionary, pain body with pain body, reactionary. But you don't have enough awareness to know, hey, I have a pain body, right? That
Yes.
I'm reacting. So
Can I add something that I'm really learning and realizing, that I'm finding now, especially from the relationship that I was in, I got triggered so much, but I knew I was grateful when I got triggered. And Poonam, you have done this with me on different things when it came to the computer a long time ago. So I realized when I get triggered, I automatically say thank you, even though it's really uncomfortable. Now, what I've learned, especially in the relationship, if a particular person brings up stuff, it's actually their pain body and my pain body colliding.
Mhm.
Now, when I start to see some light and going, oh, wow, I've learned the best thing I can do is step away from that relationship or that involvement at that time, because they don't know any different. They don't realize that they're reacting the same way, and so was I. So I've learned, like, it's amazing being out of the relationship, how much I've been able to work on, because all the stuff that she helped bring up, I'm now being able to look at it differently. And then so how I respond to it, I can get into a calmness, but then I can get to a point where I'm above it. And now I wouldn't react the same way if I was with that person. And I've learned that a lot about family members. Once I start learning that this is their stuff, I'm able to be with them and almost like be smiling, because I'm not bringing on, I'm not being reactive to it.
Beautiful.
So then they'll either walk away from me because they don't know how to communicate with that. They're used to communicating with drama or whatnot. So I've learned that relationships, when we learn, if we don't get anything out of it, that's usually when the relationship will just change and people will walk away.
Perfect. Thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Grateful.
allowing me to say that.
Grateful for the additional commentary on it.
Okay.
Let me move to Patricia. Patricia, you want to talk about this? Thank you. Or any questions for Michelle and Ken?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And before I start answering, I want to thank you for doing those small tips of the day that you do. And everybody, I don't know if you had a chance to listen, but they're really amazing. So thank you, because I listen to them when I drive home. I didn't listen to every single one, but the one that really hit me, I think it was yesterday, or the day before, when you were talking that we are living our patterns and each one of us has those patterns. So we are here to realize that we are divine. So in order to do that, we have to recognize those patterns and dissolve them to get closer to our true nature, which is that divinity. So in a sense, like April always said, this is a school. We are kind of a school here. Each one of us, according to our soul's contract, we got certain lessons that we chose to learn. And we always going back. So we have to, every one of those lessons, that frustration coming up, like the questioner is saying, it's the mirror. That's like Ken is always saying, there's something that I'm triggering, that, that I'm seeing that the other person, but it's not the other person really, it's me. So that, I know if Cesar was there, he's like, be grateful. Start with gratitude, because that raises your vibrational level, and then things like that will not show up. Or even if they show up just to like check on you, you will not react to them. You will observe them. It's like, what's in it? Is it me? Is it just the other person reacting their pattern, and it has nothing to do with me? So I wouldn't get affected by it. I would just observe it, have that compassion, understanding where they're coming from, but it wouldn't make me feel like sick. Like here, the description is that, but I have to give it to the questioner that there is some kind of awareness, because if they can like stay within, not start reacting and arguing, they still observing, and there's this gut feelings, they're not feeling it. So their awareness is starting, right? It's still picking up the discomfort, but now the next level is to recognize that the source of it is in the person, not in the other, it's in me. And then stop judging, and then compassion to yourself, because this is very important, I think, and it's a game changer when you realize that you chose this. And Eckhart always said, this moment is perfect. It came to be because the entire universe just made it. So what is the message? What is the feedback? What is the universe, just observing and learning the presence? And I think his advice to that is learn those little, be present outside the stressful situations. I mean, first, when you alone, have those moments through the meditation, through breathing, through observation of your inner body, nature, right? The more of the spaciousness you have, the vibrational level will rise up, and then less and less, like Michelle said, the situations will appear, but it's going to be less and less, and the reactivity is not going to be there. So it's just everything. So it's the practice. It's the practice outside the situation. It's a practice in every moment. You can breathe, you can get this awareness. Eckhart says, sometimes one conscious breath, taking one conscious breath is enough to bring us back. And for me, I experience a lot of those situations. But right now, thanks to the group, thanks to Eckhart, I observe. And then if I do have that gut reaction, I just say, I love you. like mentally, and thank you, like Ken mentioned, thank you for showing me there's just something about me. I guess I'm not aligned in that moment with the source, with my true nature. There's some crumbs of my old identity that still are trying, or ego, they're trying to feel if I'm still buying it. Am I buying it or I'm not buying it? If my practice has that level that it's ready. So it's just getting the tools, what to do in each moment. Just connect to your breathing, just starting on your like lower belly, right? The breathing in that moment, listening to the person, but starting to really get in touch with the inner body through the breath. So these are like little tips that can happen, but sometimes just say, I'm so sorry. I'll listen to it. I just need to go to the bathroom. And I actually just use a silly excuse like that to get out of there, go in the bathroom, breathe a few times. When you're ready, get out. It's like, it's going to be a different situation. So sometimes just have a few scenarios of what to do. And when the situation happens, pick one. Just be playful with what's going to happen. And as far as the very end, when Poonam, you mentioned about the inner child, I think it's the pain body, isn't it? The inner child, isn't that a pain body that's trying to come up because it's not resolved? And many of our pain bodies are from our childhood. Isn't that correct? That's how I see it, actually. I know there are probably inner child sort of things that aren't resolved. So that's all the conditioning, all the maybe not all, but conditioning, most of conditioning, programming, and the pain bodies, I think we get from our experiences when we're very young, when we're children, correct? And then we're carrying it, and then we're getting triggered. They want to feed, right? The ego wants to feed. It's an energy that it's not being transformed. So that's my thing. And yes, I agree with you, Poonam, that it's a lot of judgment. Just saying, anytime we blame the other, it's when we are not conscious. That's just the feedback for me. Right now, it's like, oh, there's a judgment that someone else did it all, that they looked at wrong, or it's like, ego, hello, goodbye. So it's like Michelle also said, it's like moment to moment, everyday little things, practice, just observing and giving yourself enough love and compassion, and just realizing what Dr. Joe Dispenza also said, that we are energy. We are energy. And that energy is using the body, right, as a way to get to consciousness. It's just like the energy. So an energy is vibration, about raising vibration. So what can we do in every moment to raise vibration? And when like Michelle gets tired, now she knows, okay, my vibrations are low, my energy, so I'm not gonna, solve anything being at that level. So I have to raise my vibration. And then the situation, like the AirPods, because she slept on it, she just like let it go. And then the universe, like, see, that's how you do it. So you get rewarded almost for doing the work.
like the alchemy, right? You start to alchemize these situations.
Mhm.
But I think, just to add, if you don't mind, I think that there's such a gravitational pull to be in these conditioned patterns, right? It's just what
Absolutely. You remember when Poonam always shows like when they're pulling you on you, right? On the constant. Yeah, because our body remembers the feeling and it wants to go back to what's familiar. And being frustrated, being in that flight and fight mode, it's familiar. So let's get more of it.
I think this is the work that takes I mean, this type of work is endless. It doesn't stop.
But it gets better. It gets
It's better. It just doesn't, there's this vigilance that you need to be on all the time, seeing what's happening within yourself and your activity. All of that.
Yeah, it's the Joe Dispenza meditation about changing boxes. First, you got to recognize what's that old feeling that rises, what's the thought. So you have it, you see it. It's like, you're not going to get away with it. I see you coming.
Around
then-
the corner, but I'm gonna get you.
I see you. Thank you for coming, but not today. And then you say change, right, Poonam? It's fascinating. I'm really happy that the questioner actually is observing, because this is how it starts. You're actually noticing this, and then you have a question, because person that it's not aware completely, they're not going to answer that they're not going to ask that question.
Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing the tips that you shared, Patricia. And I'm deeply humbled. That's why the tip of the day was offered. It's part of my book, right? And so I was like, let me just actually Dean Graziosi challenged us in April saying, do like a short video, right? For 30 days. So I was doing it on their page, and I was like, why am I doing it on their page when actually what I talk about is more applicable here on our Facebook page, because I talk about Eckhart's teachings, right? Or Dr. Joe's teachings. So let me do it on this page. And yeah.
I love it. I love it. I was like wait for it. It's like, oh, let me see Poonam, because normally I have to, well, something with my voice. I have to wait till Wednesday to see you guys, and then to Friday. So now I can, see you in between here and there. It's short, it's sweet, and it's just really, and you never know. Some of them I just listen, I agree, but that one hit me. It's like, oh my God, that's so important, that realize we are divine. We have that. And unless we're not gonna know this, unless we really solve those patterns, they stopping us from realizing this, and they're put in our way to, to work them. And so we see how much we suffer through them. And the more we suffer, the better, because then you just don't want it anymore. Because if they're just like, okay, I can get it, it's like, well, I'm just like, that's not gonna make you awake.
And
So
what I feel is, I know they're probably inner child sort of things that aren't resolved. To me, I feel some people, from a psychological point of view, I don't understand this inner child, but I've heard other people use it, right, in our group meditation and everything. Oh, my inner child needed this, or my inner child. So I know there's a psychological term called inner child, or they have gone to a therapist, or they've had some therapy sessions.
but I think this is a pain body. This is what Eckhart calls a pain body. I believe so.
No,
No?
your inner child, if
Yes,
something
it is.
if something happened to you as a child and you were still the 6-year-old, some people say, oh, you have to go back to your 6-year-old self and hold her, or go back to your 7-year-old self and hold them. to me, when I look at the 3-year-old me and 4-year-old me, I exactly know, but I have that level of presence power. That I exactly know what attraction, there was no inner child that was hurt. There was no child that was hurt. The child attracted what they were hurt by.
But that would be trauma, Poonam. So a lot of things happen when we're young. It traumatizes us. So it's actually, we stop growing from that moment until you actually go back and feel the feeling, feel the emotion. And then you start putting things together and all of a sudden you went, oh my God. And that was a lot of things I've done. I bring up different things about my ex-wife or different things. So it's amazing because, and a lot of it, which you talk about, is resentments. A lot of
Right.
resentments are carried also, so it gets mixed up with different feelings and emotions until we untangle that, then we realize, oh my God, it goes way back.
But isn't everything point of attraction? That as a 3-year-old, like I say about myself, I had resentment for my mother's, like I had a hatred towards her, verbal and physical abuse. So that happened, right? So the inner child does not need.
Yeah, you are correct. You actually have a one level deeper understanding. I think inner child is here and your understanding is.
I'm going much deeper,
Yes,
and I'm
yes.
cutting it
Yeah.
off.
But I think
and
Yes.
maybe
saying,
we need to heal on different levels. So we're dealing with the emotional level before we can get to that spiritual, like the deepest of the truths. I think we're looking like we just want to get there, right? To like, but I think we're healing first here and
But
then
it's transcending it. It's yes, it's much deeper than just, going back and reliving it and understanding. Actually transcending it so it's gone, that you don't have to go back anymore. Or like Poonam talks about it, but there's no emotional feeling attached to it anymore. Right, Poonam? When you talk about it right now, it's just you're not feeling physically, the same fear or the same hatred, but you can talk about it.
I can talk about the sexual harassment too, and there's no feeling, because that one was the turning point for me where there was forgiveness.
Mhm.
That's when I consciously said, I will forgive, I will delete all the instant messages, I will delete all the emails so that I don't have, I mean, I could probably have done some e-discovery and said, go look at the email backups and get the backups and look at all the emails that were sent. But I didn't do any of that sort. And I made a conscious effort that I would forgive this person. I don't know why. There was some awareness. I was getting divorced at that point in time. So I was like, I don't want another headache. I have an 8-year-old that I need to take care of. I just want my life to be, that was the time I made the choice to keep it simple, like, which is even till today, my life is very, very peaceful and simple. Like I go for the simplicity every day, every day.
You did it out of self-love, because putting energy into proving someone wrong, fighting, it would take so much of the negative energy out of, and you needed this focus on peace,
Bring up
that
a
you
child.
wanted peace. You just chose peace. Yes.
but let me ask you, Poonam, so the forgiveness to the family, did that require a different approach than the situation at work that you dealt with?
Forgiveness towards the family, meaning my mother, towards my
Yes, all
mother.
of that, however you transcended that.
That forgiveness was exactly what Eckhart says in The Power of Now, that my radiant essence was never touched. That the moment you come into, this is my presence, right? And my presence was never touched. And I understand, I have the empathy and compassion that she could not have done, they could not have acted otherwise.
Mhm.
Nobody can act beyond their level of consciousness.
Right.
Like, the way her mom, I used to shiver, like just being in the presence of my grandmother. My grandmother did not even have to raise her voice. Just by standing there in front of me, I would shake. she was such a ferocious woman. So I was like, if your mother is that kind of ferocity and fierceness, how are you going to be as a daughter? We are human beings that are just the video that touched Patricia. That's exactly, if people are just acting out their conditioned patterns, generational patterns after patterns, their alcoholism, their smoking addiction, their drug addiction, they have no control.
Plus Poonam, because I was for a while stuck, it's like, how can such a small child, and I actually said that during Friday's Monday or Q&A, how such a small child can, have such a resentment, can cause someone else, and then realization that we are being born with the lesson, we are actually have generational trauma. We're not born innocent in a sense that we didn't do it yet, but we have karma. We bring it into this world with us to work on. And the sooner we start, and some people really get exactly the hardest set of parents to start right away.
Yes, I agree. It is energy, and whatever they're bringing in and how it affects us. And I really believe, I always thought I was defective. I always thought I was a mistake. So just having that mindset, so it's the emotions, it's the thinking, I was spiritually bankrupt because I wasn't turning to a higher power. So I tried to figure everything out. So I can see what areas were defected or were affected. And so I really do feel I had to work, I call them legs. I had to work in different areas of my my woundings. I call that woundology. And so I had to go back and repeat things and see how things were affected. And then by praying and meditating, I was drawn to different people. I was drawn to my intuition. And I feel like the one God has helped me or brought me to what I need. And now in my life, every day, I feel like if I'm like today, we're talking about this, I know I'm already working through this. And there'll be more information or downloading that will come through as long as I maintain my sobriety. And that would be, and the more I meditate and the more healthy I am, the faster this all speeds up. And just like Michelle was saying, it's a daily reprieve every day. And then it's so easy. And if I go, okay, I'm going to get off the beam and I'm going to go do something else, it's like I'm in a different energy field. And I have to step back in. I call it the God beam. I got to be in that presence field. And when I am, this is where I feel my best. I love being with like-minded people. It's like I feel so loved and so connected, but I never felt this growing up. I've been yearning and starving for it my whole life. I never knew what love was. I thought I did, but it was a lot of selfishness. So it's just amazing how things start coming together just by listening to everybody, because I feel like we're all in the field. As you untangle your stuff, you're helping me untangle mine.
And it's interesting how each one of us, when we were younger and like in our heads, because we are all, pretty smart people. So we were trying to control everything. And it's like, okay, this is who I am. I'm going to fix it. Someone is like, I'm going to control it. I'm going to learn this. It's like we were trying to do it on that in that 3D dimension, and it didn't work.
Correct.
So
Correct.
It's like, this is such a lesson in humility. It's like, okay, I did everything humanly I could do to fix it, and I couldn't. So now I'm on my knees and asking divine, please, with your grace, help me, because I couldn't do it by myself. And then you realize that you're actually talking to you because you have that divine spark. So like, there's not some outside God that you're talking to. You actually, it's
Inside.
here.
Yes,
And it's such an incredible discovery that it was
Yes.
there all along, all along.
right. And we're
Through
always looking
every-
outside of ourselves. We're always looking outside for answers. That's why the meditation or the self-love. And I used to think self-love, self-love, self-love. I've been hearing it for 30 years. And now I'm like, I get it because I'm feeling it. You can't know it. You got to feel it.
Right, because it's
Well,
not,
that-
it's
not
not that
so
you're
much as-
loving, because I had an issue. It's like, how can I self-love if the whoever,
not-
it's
I-
the person. I was trying to love the person, and person was imperfect. I couldn't. It's like, how can I love this person who feels the hatred towards her father, who just made a mistake? This is not person that is lovable, but it's not the person you love. It's the divinity in you that you fall in love with. And then you just have compassion from it towards the person part, the humanity in us.
You have it for yourself.
I wouldn't
your
even
little
call
self.
it I wouldn't even call it self-love. It's not exactly self-love. It is more, the more we get aligned with our inner being, the love is just, we become one with source, and
Right.
the source is infinite love, right?
This is it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
We
It's
just became
Yeah.
one with source. That's all we did, is
Yeah.
we became one with source.
when
correct.
I did that meditation, and whoever, listen, check it out with Joe Dispenza, because like we always said, Eckhart says what? Dr. Joe Dispenza tell us how to get there. So the one coherence, the center of the magnet, I'm sorry, like the 2 hour, over 2 hour, but at the end, when he said something, I don't even remember what he said. I just felt love towards, like I saw every single person almost in my life that I met from the time I was little, and I just loved all of us, all of them, people that hurt me, people that it's like, it just
Beautiful.
spread amazingly. It was such incredible experience. And this is how we get there. This is how we get there. Because by just saying, okay, I'm going to self-love, that's not going to happen. I tried it for years. And just by talking to I love you in the mirror, it didn't really do much. Because I had that very deep belief that I'm not enough. So how can I love that person that it's not enough, right? So it was some level buried deep.
It happened to me when I was doing a walking meditation during Dr. Joe's retreat. He has a walking meditation, and the walking meditations during retreat are not released for purchase. They are only used during the retreat, right? So we cannot actually go get it. So it's called Heartful Mind and a Mindful Heart, or something like that. And I was doing that, and at the very end, he says something, and you get so much into brain heart coherence that I saw the dog that I absolutely love, who's passed away like 20-30 years, or 40 years, and I saw her, I saw my son, I saw my brother, I saw my mother, I saw my, just like what you were saying, right?
It's like,
All my father, like all their images came through. Like it's immediately, who you love the most, right? Who has brought you that love. So
you almost realized that there was not one person in your experience in your life that was not out of love, that they were there.
mhm,
So
beautiful. Okay, I think we are at above the top of the hour, and I know, Patricia, it's almost close to our bedtime. So let's close this, and we meet again on next Wednesday, right? Even though it's very close to Christmas. So we meet next Wednesday, and if I don't see anyone, Merry Christmas, and
Happy Hanukkah is coming too.
Happy
think-
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the festivals, happy holidays, happy
yes.
holidays. Much love, many
Thank you so much.
blessings,
Right. Thank you,
infinite
everybody.
gratitude. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.